So I had a whole plan for what today's video was going to be, but my favorite thing about this challenge and making a video every day is the amount of flexibility it affords me to just pivot on a dime and do something different. If you did not know this about me, I am a professional actor, and another actor friend of mine came across an audition that she wants to submit for, but it's due at 5 o'clock today, and it is currently 20 minutes after 1. I have a bachelor's degree in acting, and I've been acting on stage for 20 or so odd some years, and I've documented a little bit of that process here on this channel, but I've never documented the process of filming a self-tape. If you're not familiar, a self-tape is exactly what it sounds like. You have some sort of audition material, and you record yourself delivering the audition material, and then you send it off to whoever is casting the project. Self-tapes are not a new phenomenon by any means, but they exploded in popularity during the pandemic, when it was not safe for us to go outside and we couldn't go audition in big rooms like we'd been doing for so many years. I'm not a big fan of recording self-tapes, and I don't generally record self-tapes because I don't audition very much right now, but they are a necessary evil in the world of acting, so we figured we'd take you through the process a little bit. Bonnie's going to be here in a half hour, and I'm going to document as much of the self-tape process as I can without being intrusive and slowing us down. Like I said before, we have to get this done in the next couple of hours, so I don't want to waste too much time trying to document it, but I'll fill you in on as much as I can afterwards.
2 hours later.
But if you don't care, fine, go braid her hair. Maybe Sesame Street is on. All right, we gotta be quick. We're burning daylight. Okay, Bonnie and I just finished filming the self-tape. Unfortunately, we were on a pretty tight time schedule, so I didn't really have time to document anything. It also always feels weird when you and a friend are working on something and you have to whip out your phone to film some content.
Each episode is only 10 minutes of content!
I don't mind documenting my life and the people I spend time with, but I never want that documentation to interfere with a genuine human moment. You'll have to settle for GoPro footage of us rearranging the furniture. Yeah, I think that's great. Cool. But the self-tape turned out really well. It was a tough tape because there wasn't any scripted dialogue. There was a description of the scene, but the actor was expected to improvise anything they said. I find that sort of thing pretty challenging, but Bonnie handled it like an absolute pro. She has phenomenal eye engagement. She's looking with intention at something she can't see, and she has a really natural sparkle in her eye when the moment calls for it. Self-tapes for me have always been a real challenge because they're so unlike a normal acting environment. You're often standing in front of a camera all by yourself, and it feels insane. That was actually a take. That was a take. That was a take. Whether I'm working on stage or shooting for TV or film, if I'm saying lines, I'm generally saying them to a person, or at the very least, there are other people in the room. This is why I always try to have someone in the room with me while I tape. Not only does it make things go faster, but it gives me someone to look at while I deliver my lines. And if I can't get someone to help me in person, even a friend on a video call is better than nothing. Helping Bonnie with this tape was a little nostalgic, if anything. I haven't submitted an audition in ages, so it was fun to get back into it while simultaneously not having to be on camera. Talking to a camera like this is easy for me because I'm being myself and saying words that I wrote or came up with on the spot. Even though I know people will eventually watch it, I don't feel self-conscious because I'm just being me. Self-tapes have always put me into a weird headspace because you say the same stupid lines 10, maybe even 20 times, and somehow every take looks worse than the one before. I haven't recorded an obscene number of self-tapes in my life, but I guess the number is somewhere north of 50. Most of them have been relatively straightforward, but others have been absolutely insane.
Let's do this. Leroy Jenkins!
I don't really want to, but I probably owe it to the people to roll some cringy self-tape footage here. Hey, Ethan, you mentioned that you're not auditioning right now. Why is that? That's a phenomenal question, random citizen. The short answer is that auditioning isn't really economically viable for me, but I'll give you the long answer if you're interested. There are two major acting unions, the Screen Actors Guild, or SAG, for TV and film actors, and Actors Equity for stage actors and stage managers. I'm a member of Actors Equity, but I'm not a member of SAG. Bonnie, for reference, is a member of both Actors Equity and SAG. Being a member of the union is nice. It ensures that I'm always working in a union-approved work environment and that I'm always getting paid a union rate. The tough part is that being in the union disqualifies me from doing non-union work. There are exceptions, but not very many of them. And there's a lot more non-union work than union work. I wouldn't be able to give you an exact figure, but I'd guess there's 5 to 10 times more work for non-union actors than union actors. Let's get specific though. Say Sweet Lou is submitting a self-tape for a play that's performing in a small union theater in Mesa, Arizona, and he books it. Since Sweet Lou is a member of Actors Equity, the theater is obliged to bring him out there and house him while he works, which is amazing. The downside is that it's only a 6-week project and it pays $700 per week. The take-home after taxes, agent fees, and union dues is probably more in the neighborhood of $450 or $500 a week. This means that Sweet Lou either has to eat his rent while he's gone, or he has to sublet to a person he's probably never met for a very specific period of time. It's possible, but he knows as well as I do that it's a hassle. And on top of that, Sweet Lou has to miss 6 weeks of work, which means he'll probably get fired and have to job hunt while he's performing Seussical the Musical 7 shows a week in Mesa, Arizona. Sounds like hell to me. What do you think, Sweet Lou? Sweet Lou still doesn't want to talk to you.
I'm all alone in the universe.
This is the challenge of living and working in a place like New York. It's tough to pay rent, and counterintuitively, working as a professional actor can actually cost you a lot of money. None of this is to sound ungrateful, of course. I loved working in professional theater, and acting as a whole is still something that brings me a lot of joy. It's just a really challenging field to work in, and I find it easier being semi-retired. These YouTube videos are really creatively stimulating for me, and I perform with a sketch comedy group a few times a year just to get up on stage and have a good laugh from time to time. I'm not closed off to the idea of acting in the future. In fact, I'd really like to get into it again someday, but for right now, I'm happy where I am, and that's a good feeling. Normally this would be where I show you my photos from my photo walk, but it was a busy day today and I didn't have time to take a photo walk. So instead, I'll just say thanks for watching, special thanks to those that support me on Patreon, and I'll see you tomorrow.